All right, all right. We're back at the podcast today. I have a special guest. I have Joe Hughes from Contractors Dynamics. Joe and I met 10 years ago when Committed Pig was in their old location on Main Street. We had similar businesses at the time. Joe has kind of gone on into a cool new type of business that I wanted to talk about today, so I thought it would be great to have him on. Joe, great to see you. Nice to come on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This is awesome, man. I love your office, the setup. It's fantastic.
You're not buying shirts here anymore. Well, you could, but not from Big Frog, but you're in that location. So we're in our Belmar spot today. So you started out as an agency, just very similar to Wingman, but now you've kind of gone off in a new direction. You only work really with roofers and contractors, right?
Yeah.
But you're more into education now and training.
Yes.
So kind of go into that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So we were an agency for 7 years, from 2013 through 2019, doing all the things that you guys do, and which is great, provide a lot of value. And then in 2018, we started to see that, hey, we had these, and maybe you can resonate with this, maybe not. We had a bunch of clients that were paying us every month, and they were getting good results. And then we had a bunch of clients that were paying us every month, and those guys were not getting great results. And to me, I couldn't sleep well at night knowing that we were taking money and not being able to get good results for clients. And we kind of looked at it and we said, what's the commonality here, right? The clients that were getting good results were the ones that were involved in their marketing. And we would say, and we have clients all over the country, 30 states. So we'd say hey, Brett in Ohio, do this video. We need to run Facebook ads with videos. And he wouldn't send it to us because he would have no clue what to do. He's a roofing contractor.
Yeah.
So I would sit in my office in Asbury and record the video as me and be like, Brett, do what I just did, right? Yep. So then we started developing training to basically help our clients just be better clients so we can provide more value to them. And then in 2019, we tested out this little training model. And then January 1st, 2020, we flipped the switch and we got rid of the agency services. We went all in on education. So now what we do is we train our clients on how to do their own marketing, whether that's video, social media, Google, SEO, referral relationships, offline, online, the whole deal. We help them build marketing machines inside
within their own organization.
Company, yes.
And you're just doing the training. You're providing no services like the agency.
No done for you services at all. No.
Cool.
So if, our client, pretty much all of our clients still work with an agency.
They need to.
It's the technical aspects, Google, SEO, website, all those things. But we're training them on how to effectively work with an agency, how to collaborate, how to get the best results, how to look at the data, reporting, how to just collaborate more effectively.
That switch is a big switch, but there's a lot of value in that switch because a lot of guys go through their whole business that they don't know what they don't know. And many times they'll say, I get this question a lot is, well, I don't know. One of my first questions to customers when I meet them if we're building a website, no, that's not an issue. But if we're going to get into marketing services, my first question is, what's your cost per acquisition? Because to me, how can you guide me on if I did well or if I did poor or if you're pissed off or if you're happy if you don't know what your cost per acquisition is? And it's a challenging question for many.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, you want to try to measure every dollar, but there's brand awareness, there's referrals, so it's hard. But it's definitely an exercise you need to do.
Yeah. I'm going through it right now with a company who hired me to kind of look at it from more your perspective than my agency perspective. Look at it from a consulting view. Not be the guy who's running the pay-per-click, but being the guy who's helping just kind of from a higher level. And I'm going into this data, and it's how it's booked, it's how it's recorded, it's how it's the contracts looks like. So it's challenging. I think there's no apples to apples comparisons, and some guys write a contract this way, some guys don't have a contract and they're on a handshake. So there's all these different things that you're kind of playing into. So it's interesting that you've kind of flipped it and become the training guy. And
training, a lot of consulting too, because we try to help our clients as much as possible. And so one of the questions we ask with the new clients, or even before they become a client, in the prospective client stage, what do you want? Where do you want to go? What's your goal? How big do you want to grow? And a lot of business owners, even ones that have been around a while, they don't really know. They've never really thought about that. It's just I just want to grow. I want more. I want to double. Whatever. They don't really have
But it's not always strategic growth.
Yeah, hey, I'm at $2 million this year. I want to get to 4 next year or 3 next year, whatever it is, and this is why, and this is what I'm willing to do to get there. So we have that conversation. We just had one the other day with one of our clients in Dallas. He's got a really comfortable business right now, makes good money, not a huge company, but small. And he's like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. Like, do I want to grow it? Do I not? So I love those conversations because you're getting deeper into like, all right, Brad, like, why do you want to grow it? Or why don't you want to grow it?
It's interesting too. Like, what's the growth for? Like,
right. Right.
Some days I look at myself and I go, I worked like crazy. Yeah. What am I doing this for? And then the next day you're like, all right, let's get back in the hustle. But again, again, it goes back to, I think entrepreneurs are wired differently. I've said it 100 times. I'll say it one more. But I think that, people just kind of get into it and you're in the hustle of it. And entrepreneurs get in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Like, I think we get addicted to like, I love helping people, providing value. Yeah. And that's just, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel valuable. I like to serve, and it's an infinite game.
Yep.
Like, I'm playing forever. I just love it. I love it. Yeah.
And now
there are days when I hate it. Yeah. Let's be honest, right?
So you started out as a one-man show, though, right? Like when you first started out, when I first met you, when we met each other for lunch that day, we both were working from home.
Yeah.
All right. Then you went to Asbury.
Yep.
And you had an office there when you were an agency.
Yep, that was fun.
And then how many employees you have now?
We have 11 now, including myself.
That's awesome. And now that 11 is across the...
Yeah, I'm the only one in New Jersey.
That's awesome.
So that's a challenge in of itself. But from day one, back talking 11 years ago when you and I kind of met, it was me and JU, who was a full-time web developer in the Philippines.
Okay.
So like from day one, I've always had that kind of like that tool set of like how to like work with remote people.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then we had an office full of people in Asbury for a while. And then during COVID, we got rid of that. And now we're 11 people all over the country. And my thing is like, hey, we're here at the Jersey Shore, amazing talent here at the Jersey Shore. However, I want to find the best people regardless of where they are. And that's what we've been able to do. So
that's great. And now on that note, like, do you plan to come back and open an office on the Jersey Shore at some point?
I do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Within the next couple of years, I would say something like this, nothing too crazy. Mm-hmm. You get burnt out on the Zoom thing. Man, I've been on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week. I looked at my calendar. I was on Zoom for 18 hours, like total in 3 days.
That's a lot of Zoom.
Yeah. It's a lot, man. And like, it burns you out. You get lonely. I love the people thing.
Yeah, I like the camaraderie. I like the in person. I'm from the old school. I like to actually like to talk to people.
I know, exactly.
Talk to them in person.
Right. So we're not gonna. I want to say this because we're on the air. Like, and I told this to our team because our team knows the plan. We're not like getting rid of the remote team because they're amazing. Our leadership team, like, at least have like something like this, like a video set up locally. Mm-hmm. We shoot a lot of content. Maybe some training space where we can have people come in and train. So, yeah.
Other companies use this space. If you ever need to train and you want to bring like a step and repeat, you could do a video here, like if you ever wanted to. We could figure that out. Like we have a couple companies that have been on the podcast and they're like, we want to use this. So, something to think about.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
This wasn't a this wasn't a setup to try to get you to say that, but knowing now that you've
absolutely, I love that. Yeah, because I've shot some podcasts with guests in my backyard by the pool, which is cool.
That's pretty cool too.
But you can't do that really year round.
Yeah. That's awesome. So now this remote team, you just started hiring as you had a need for different positions. Mm-hmm. You just said wherever they're the best is where I'm going to go.
Yes, just through like from day one, we built a brand kind of nationally with clientele and just like networking and things like that. Mm-hmm. And a couple of our leadership team members came from previous clients.
Oh, cool.
We didn't poach from our clients. Let me be clear about that. Yeah. We have no, we don't poach. Yeah. However, we found them that way. And then just social media and just building the brand and our content.
You do a ton of LinkedIn.
I don't.
I think you do a lot. I think you do a lot compared to me. I do more Facebook and Instagram. So
we do too. Okay. So 90% of our stuff's on Facebook, Instagram, and then like I try to be active on LinkedIn.
I see you on LinkedIn all the time. I feel like.
I feel like we're just scratching the surface there, but we just hired a new admin assistant, so she's going to be helping me to get more into LinkedIn.
LinkedIn's tough. It's like you have all these connections, but yet like if you look for me, I do so much better on. Facebook is my number one. Again, I'm 46, so I feel like people that I'm friendly with like Facebook.
Yeah, same here.
Most of our clients, we have clients from 20 to 70, but a lot of them fall in the, 40 to 70 crowd.
Right.
So they're more Facebook. But
Right.
like when we do something, there's some days you could do a Facebook post and you get these great results, and Instagram sits flat, or LinkedIn has 80 views, and you're like, I have 12,000 connections. How did 80 people only see this?
You got to work it like anything else. Like I tell all of our clients, like, try to just focus on like one or two. Don't try to be everywhere, because you really have to work it. And like with LinkedIn, for me, I post maybe 5 times a week, and I don't have any expectations because I don't spend any time on there.
Yep.
Maybe you think I do, but I don't.
I find like that maybe the 5 times is the 5 times I'm looking.
Yeah,
because I always see you come right
the
up.
algorithm. Who knows how it works? But like I don't have any expectations. But like once we start to go deep into it and post 3 times a day, then we'll like start to look at the data, right?
Yeah.
But if you're just dabbling, and this is for anyone listening or watching, like if you're just dabbling and posting here and there, don't have expectations, because there are guys like Tom and I, they're in there every day and like just looking at, okay, when's the best time to post? Like a lot of people ask that, like when's the best time to post?
Sure.
I don't know. Post for a month, 3 times a day, and then look at the data. Yeah.
Everything's about the data, and
it really is.
But I think everybody wants an instant. They want it. Like I started posting 2 days ago. Like
Totally. And then things are always changing. So like I told you, this event we're doing next week in Phoenix, we did one last year in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
And so I had these social media promotion posts that I do. And like basically I copied the one from Columbus last year that got a lot of engagement, posted it last night for this event next week in Phoenix, and got like very little engagement. It's frustrating. The algorithm's just constantly changing.
Yeah, and you can't beat it. Like
no,
you gotta keep trying some different. And to me on social, you gotta throw things against the wall and see what sticks. I took a post from somebody that said like, it was on Facebook about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Just said something about like, I said I stole this from a client friend of mine, and it said like, I'm cheering for it's like essentially zero-sum game. It's not. It's the opposite. Like
we can both win.
Yeah. And I'm happy that you win. And even again, if you get there to a milestone first, I'm happy for you. Like I want to see everyone win.
Right.
I stole that from this guy. It was a quick post, no picture, 165 likes on my Facebook.
Awesome.
I put up a post that says like, what's the hardest thing being an entrepreneur these days? And I got like 5 likes.
Yeah.
Like, that one I was like, we're gonna have all these comments. Nah.
It's wild.
And I posted in roughly the same time just to kind of see.
Right. So I post I got out of it recently because I'm trying to be more strategic, but I used to post every morning at 6:45 a.m. Mm-hmm. So that was a constant. And then I could look at like, okay, what types of posts? Same thing. The short little like post-it style with the color background. Yeah. Those always get more engagement. I read a lot of long form stuff, and I'll write that. It's like crickets. However, people do read that stuff. They just don't comment. Right?
And you know what though? Those sometimes are the ones that you end up getting business from.
Exactly. They're going to reach out to you in the DMs. Or you'll see them somewhere. They'll be like, "Yo, I love your content. I read it every day," and I'm like, "Oh, that's great," but I just didn't know because you never engaged. But like most people are not going to engage.
Exactly. You know what's funny is my wife has a photography hobby that's turning into a business, and she went to Kenya and she took these great pictures. And she's like, "Tom, I feel like some days I don't get any action on social." And I say, listen, I understand how you feel.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, like I walk into a place in Point Pleasant, a store, and the guy says to me, "Oh, I saw that video you just did on that podcast for the race car driver, the young race car driver." And I said to my wife when we left, I go, the guy did not comment or post or like or share while he was on Facebook. But when we walked into his store, he knew that post was there. I said, just use that as your example.
100%.
So when you get annoyed that you don't get a ton of action on a post, that it's not you, it's everybody.
Absolutely. And I always say, like, look at your own behavior. Okay. So I might see 1,000 pieces of content today on social media.
Which is just scary.
Hopefully I'm not on it that much, but I might see, say 1,000, just say 100. Okay. I might like or comment on 5 of them.
Yep.
And I'm a social media guy. So that's 5%, right?
Yep, sure.
So when you post, think about that. Like if you get 5 likes, there's 100 people that saw that content.
That's a really good way to think about it.
Just think about your own behavior, right?
Yeah.
And we can't expect more of others than is the norm.
I'll tell you, I try to hit the like button when I go on. I just try to hit it like 10 times because I want people to feel like, all right, he saw it.
Yeah.
Because again, there's sometimes like I feel the same way, and I run a social media company.
Totally. And I might not read someone's post, but it's someone I support and just like it.
I hit that like button. So
yeah.
So, all right, so cool. I mean, so you're in education now. Most of your clients now have a marketing department, because if you wouldn't just be able to send them, train them and have them do it, right? Is that kind of
most of our clients have what?
Like a marketing department that
yes,
that you work with?
Yes. So like an ideal client for us is like we specialize in the roofing industry mostly for our main.
Why'd you go to roofing?
I don't know, man. It's just the way things end up. And why do you own a limo company? I don't know. Just the way things end up,
Damn. Right back at me.
So we had actually, no, it's interesting. It comes back to Jersey Shore, actually. All things do, right? Had a client, Nick Forsell, back in 2013, right after Superstorm Sandy. Started working with him. He was from Illinois. Had moved his family here. And he needed like all the things, website, postcard, the whole deal. So he was like our second client, where we built a relationship. I was like, hey, Nick, I'm new to this, but like, let's crush it, right? And we crushed it. Nick moved to Dallas, opened up a roofing company, told me to come down there. He introduced me a ton of roofing company friends, and I ended up working with one of the associations in the roofing industry, getting on stage, winning an award, things like that. Awesome. So it just kind of like snowballed. And like that was like 2017, 18. My mind was blown as to how big the industry is. It is insane. So it's crazy. So in 2018, we decided to just focus on roofing for the next few years. And here we are 6 years later, and I feel like we're still just scratching the surface. So so roofing for our flagship product, our Platinum Marketing Training Program, an ideal client has an in-house marketing person that we are working with. And we're also working with the owner on some business coaching, but like mostly that marketing manager to help them build their marketing machine.
So what's this 5 mile radius that we have to
5 Mile Famous? So you're a local business, like Tom Wingman's a little bit bigger of a company, but like you're a local roofing company, local plumbing, chiropractor, restaurant, whatever. Like we're here at the Jersey Shore. I don't need to market to the entire Central Jersey area. I just need to own my 5 mile radius, right? So if you're in a densely populated area like here or like, New Jersey or Dallas, 5 miles might be good. If you're in Iowa or Idaho, maybe it's 25 miles, but like whatever your mileage is, focus on getting everyone in that radius to know who you are, because you're not just marketing to your next customer. You don't know who that might be. You don't know who's going to need a website or landscaping or roof or chiropractor services, but you want to be that top of mind company that everyone thinks of, that they're tagging the local Facebook group, like call Tom Wingman. So you just want to be top of mind with everyone in that 5 mile radius.
That 5 mile radius.
And that, that is enough, right? Don't try to, if you're not doing marketing, if you're not working with Tom or me, and you don't know what you're doing, then you're going to be at risk of, like, if you're like a contractor, right, driving an hour away just to do an estimate for a small job just because you don't have a pipeline, right? It's like that scarcity mindset, right? But if you're really milking and like really nurturing your 5 mile radius, you can be much more efficient operationally. Yeah. Time is money, right?
Yeah, I remember saying that to a guy years ago. If you do the job in this town versus this town, how could you charge the same amount of money?
Yeah, right.
Like, or the same square footage or the same, dollar amount to do a repair. And I remember saying that to somebody, and they were like, well, that's the going rate. And I said, well, you have to bring trucks, and you're going to be there for 5 days, and you lose an hour each way on production with driving trucks there.
Yeah.
And it was, well, that's kind of the nature of the beast. There's some that you win, there's some you lose, and it's the law of averages. But I think to your point is, if you could own that 5 mile radius and you can be that top of mind, their guy, there's enough business in a lot of these towns, in New Jersey and elsewhere, that, being that guy. But I think to your point is, a lot of people don't have a real marketing plan, don't have a real procedure in place on, how to work referrals, how to work social, how to be in these, these groups. These groups, there's a lot of, you could cherry pick out of these groups all day long.
Absolutely.
And I think that the more people that see you and the more that you do, and I think it's the whole thing. You have to have a lawn sign when you go there.
Right.
I was trying to talk to someone the other day about a lawn sign. He goes, well, I have a trailer out there. I said, okay. So I said, you did work at my neighbor's house. I was at work all day. I didn't see it. But I saw that the work looked nice when I got home from work.
Right.
And maybe I don't want to go talk to my neighbor, but if I saw the lawn sign there, I could just call because it looked like he did a nice job there.
Absolutely.
Well, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But on the other side is like, that's just got to be part of the plan. I think when you think about job costing and job everything, you have to think about what do I need to spend on the marketing? What do I need to spend on again, if you could build a referral program right there, well, what does that do?
Just going to say that we all want referrals. They're the best, right? So why would I want referrals that are an hour away? I want referrals in my
in
own
your backyard.
town.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree with you.
You don't have to leave your radius.
Now on this plan, is that part of your education with with your roofing companies? That
5 Mile Famous? Mm-hmm. It's kind of a tagline that we kind of developed organically, and it's funny, you put things out there to the market, and there's different things like I Build America is another brand that we have. And just people start like mentioning it. Like you brought it up as soon as I
brought it up because I saw it and I liked it.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So like it's market feedback. Like I thought it was pretty cool, but we just started using it, and people like you start mentioning it, and we go to conferences and people are like, yeah, 5 Mile Famous, that makes a lot of sense because it just it rolls off your tongue. Yep. So yeah, that's part of like a strategy. Yeah, I'm writing a book, 5 Mile Famous book right now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I don't know when it's gonna be launched. That's a big project, but
what got you into writing a book? You're an avid reader.
I love reading. I love writing. I love those things, and it just makes sense. I mean, I've been writing content for a decade, so we have the content. It's just a matter of kind of packaging it up and putting in like a format that makes sense and all that sort of thing. So
when I write a book, I'm going to need a ghostwriter because I cannot sit down and write the book.
There's a lot of services out there. I looked into a couple of them.
I get called monthly for.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, a couple of people. I guess they saw whatever. They see my content. And,
anyone has
and then
content.
they start to reach out to you. So, one time I went down the path of like starting the conversation, and then I drew back. We have a client who also ghostwrites a lot of books.
Oh yeah.
Locally on the Jersey Shore. She does a great job. So when that day comes,
cool.
It'll be cool. But I feel like I still have too much to kind of do myself before I'm ready to write the book.
I hear you. Yeah, I think it'll be fun, and also it's your calling card, it's your business card. You go to a conference, you go anywhere, it's like here's my book.
Yep.
You know, there's a guy named Dan Antonelli. Okay. He's in North Jersey. He owns a company called Kick Charge Creative. So they do like branding for home service companies, like you're wrapping your vans, your trucks, your signs, billboards, the whole deal. Mm-hmm. He wrote a book. It's really good. His business has exploded over the past couple of years. They've been in business 29 years, I think. Look him up. He's a good guy.
What's the name of the book?
It's called Branded, Not Blanded.
Okay.
Awesome title. I love it.
That is a great
right?
title, yeah.
You want to be branded, you want to be blanded. So he talks about like white van syndrome, right? So if you're a contractor, you have the white van with like maybe a couple letters on the side. It's like no one's going to remember that, right? When we rebrand like Wingman, like it's a clear, recognizable brand. So that's what you need.
Just to go off topic for a second. So we did this when we moved into Belmar. We did this wall just to kind of stand out. People looking in the door.
Yeah.
It's the blue wall with the white. I liked it so much. I had one of our guys rip out the conference room wall in Manasquan, which was like a brick facade. It was a fake brick, but it was very cool, and we really always loved it. And I had them rip it out and put the blue wall in because I just liked the way that wall looked. And now everybody that comes in is like, oh, that's where you do the podcast, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of works for us.
That brand recognition is everything.
It's pretty cool, like that blue and white for us. Even when you see the signs, like, we have the same sign in Belmar that we have in Manasquan, same kind of concept. So I think he's on point on that.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because you start seeing it every day. It
becomes
part. Going back to the 5 Mile Famous,
right?
It starts to make you think about, oh, I saw that place.
Yeah, when you have a wrapped vehicle, if you're a contractor or another type of business, like a caterer or whatever, you might have 2 vehicles on the road, but people are going to think you have like 10 because they're going to see it over and over.
Absolutely.
Like, wow, these guys are everywhere,
We're in the process of getting a vehicle, and we're going to wrap it too.
Oh, cool.
So we have we have a guy who does all of our drop-offs, pickups, deliveries, maintenance, and he comes back and forth to Manasquan to Belmar every single day. So I found a cheap SUV that could put all his stuff in that he needs. And when he runs deliveries for us, like he's going up to in Hillsborough today to do an EDDM drop.
Okay.
So like we'll have a branded vehicle. So it'll say Wingman with the blue, and he'll be in that car every time that he's running.
Yeah.
And then on the weekends we can leave it here. And it's going to be a good, if nothing else, a talking point.
Right. Leave it here, park it at the beach.
Exactly.
Yeah, whatever. That's really cool.
It's pretty cool. I got to check that book out because I'd be definitely interested in.
Yeah.
So, what would be a key, being in education, a marketing educational game. So you're in a little bit different game than the agency game. For the listeners, what do you think the best way to start thinking about things for 24 and beyond is, so that the world has changed since we go back to when we first met. Like it was like we're building websites, we're doing a little bit of advertising, but now like the world is a different place. Like, and social has taken over.
Yeah.
You know, you have videos taken over within social.
Yes.
So, you know, kind of what are you teaching some of your clients to really focus their efforts on?
Man, there's so many different directions to go with this, but I would say, like, you know, years ago, 2015, 16, maybe you can resonate with this too. Like, we could run Facebook ads for our clients in Dallas or Denver or whatever, like basic lead gen ads, and just rake in a whole bunch of leads. Like, it was pretty easy. Nowadays, like, that just does not work because there's so much noise out there. The brand recognition thing is huge, right? So building your brand on social media with video content. I was talking with a roofing company owner in Wisconsin yesterday, kind of a sales call, prospect. He's like, hey, can you check out my social media, like see where I need to improve? I'm running these Facebook ads. They're not working. Wasting a lot of money. What do? And I looked at his ads. I looked at his social media. It's pictures of houses before and after, nice houses. His social media ads are videos, but they're stock photos and stock video footage. And I'm like, Cole, like, that's not going to cut it. We need more faces on video from you and your team, your company, your sales guys, whatever. Faces on video is a huge thing. Because just, again, think about the way that you make purchasing decisions. You don't just like scroll through your phone, you see one ad for a car or for whatever, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to give them a few $1,000 or, you know, 20 grand for a roof. Like, no, you go with the companies that you see over and over and over again. And the online stuff, and also, like you said, the offline, the basic stuff, the yard signs, wrap your vehicles, make everything you do, make it a billboard.
Mm-hmm. I think also, you know, when you look at social, like, you can't use stock. Like, it's just hard because, you know, not everybody wants to be on the camera. But
right.
At the same time, like, I think in the world we live in, as a business owner, you either have to have someone that's willing to be that guy,
right.
or you have to be that guy.
Yeah.
Or girl.
Right. Yeah, we work with a lot of our clients where the owner is nowhere to be found on social media. They don't want to, but they have people in their company that are like, you know, if you have 10 people in your company, there's one or two that are going to be like a, you know,
that could be the spoke.
a closet, like wannabe, like movie star, you
influencer.
know? Yeah, influencer, right? So you give them a platform.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it's huge. I mean, hey, listen, I'm never the guy that's like, you have to do this, but like, man, it's an accelerant to like your growth, right?
Did you ever think like go back to 2013, 2011? Do you ever think you're going to be on the camera as much as you are?
I started out my business with like blogging or like writing blog posts. I think that's where I got into like long form content. And I started following Gary Vee. You familiar with Gary?
Okay.
Yeah. So then I started following Gary Vee 10 years ago. And like, he's one of my, you know, like mentors from afar, I guess you could say, where I follow what he says because it works. And I've done that for 10 years. And so like.
He believes in that digital mayor too.
Yeah. Digital mayor. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So that's your 5 mile. That's essentially like starting to be like that 5 mile famous for the realtors in that digital mayor. We had Larry Vecchio on, who owns VRI Real Estate in Hazlitt and Keyport, and he was talking about that too. You know, that being that digital mayor.
Right. So yeah, Gary talked about this years ago on his podcast because I share this clip with so many of our clients. He called it the St. Louis Business Podcast like strategy, just like exactly what you're doing here. If you're a business owner in St. Louis or Belmar, have a podcast, interview other local business owners, share content out on social media, make other people 5 mile famous, and then you're going to position yourself as someone that's valuable. So yeah, I mean, that he talks about the same thing.
It's great. I you know, again, I think when I go back to when we started this podcast, like, I never thought that we would be, you know, doing this as much as we are.
Right.
It's great. It's fun. It's, you know, it gets everybody to tell their best story.
Right.
So everybody looks good, and, you know, everybody wants a place to put good content. And I think that the nice thing is, I know that, you know, a few of the realtors and mortgage guys that have been on, they end up resharing and recutting. And I know JT Hazley, you know, shout out to JT, young guy. He's cut up. We gave him the video. He's cut it up. I've seen it on social at least 5 different ways, and things that he picked out, little pieces of content, which is so good for him. He came here, we talked, and he's now using it for his you know, for his own well-being. And, you know, it's funny, I went out to dinner with my cousin that lives in like North Jersey, and she goes, you know, at the end of the night, she goes, I got to call JT. I'm thinking about, you know, and I was like, how do you know JT? And then I realized it's the podcast.
Yeah, and your brand's all over it. So,
I know.
Yeah.
I was loving it, though. So that has worked out. But that's a really good, you know, Gary Vee definitely has, you know, he's got his he knows what he's talking about.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. April 29th, 10 days from now, we're going up to Manhattan to hang out with him at his new restaurant, Maven,
awesome.
in Manhattan. Yeah, through a connection I have. So, yeah, I'm excited.
I feel like everything he touches turns to gold.
That's why I follow him, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's great.
Have you met him?
Yeah, a couple times. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
I was at his birthday party in November. Up at
so you know somebody.
Chuck E. Cheese in Brooklyn. Yeah. And then a couple other times. Yeah.
Awesome.
So amazing dude. One of the best. Like he's a giant in many industries, right? When you talk to him and have a one-on-one conversation, he is 100% present. Like there could be 1,000 people around, and he's like, it's just you and him.
That's awesome.
That to me is like an amazing skill.
That's something
trait to have. Yeah.
That's something to also aspire to.
Yeah, right. Even my kids, we brought them to Chuck E. Cheese for his birthday party, and he's like, saying hello to like my kids, and just like being 100% present. So that's something I took away, and I want to have that like with that presence it's awesome.
That's awesome. That's really good. And again, because he's getting blown up in 10 different directions.
Yeah, totally.
And he's all in.
Yeah.
They always said that about years ago. I heard this when I first learned about customer service, about Tiffany and Company, that if the store could have 100 people in there, but if you're in there looking to buy something, you're their only customer.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's something to really, aspire to.
Right.
And then bring on the team to help with those other 99 customers.
There you go.
So,
client experience is huge. Yeah, I love client experience.
Yeah. So as we wrap up here today, let people know how they can find you if they want to find you online on social. And this was awesome. I'm glad that we got to have this conversation today.
Yeah, man. I feel like we chop it up for days here.
Come back.
Absolutely. My personal website is josephhughes.co. I couldn't afford the .com, so no.
Someone else owned it?
Someone else has. I got to find that guy.
Bastard.
But josephhughes.co, all the stuff's on there, all our events and social media and all that stuff. So yeah.
This was great. Thanks again, Joe, for coming in, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you.